Not Nerd Podcast, episode 275, Slightly Off-Kilter.
Welcome to the Not Nerd Podcast. I'm Nate Heath, and we are here to help you tech better. We have scoured the internet for every tech story and found a few that are actually worth talking about. Here with me, as always, Mr. Dave Baylor.
I didn't jump in frame this time.
Yes, you can
I was a little too lazy
fix that in post.
Yeah. I noticed that last week I was leaned over. You could still see my arm,
Yes.
so there was really no surprise there. You could have tipped me off to that too, but
Well, I was not quite sure what you were doing that, and for those podcast subscribers, which you won't be subscribers for long, the term is changing. We'll talk about that later, but reminder, the YouTube video feed. Yes, you could see Dave trying to be like a 3-year-old hiding out of frame to make his grand entrance to the podcast.
you got to do what you got to
Yes.
do. You got to spice is the what is it? Something is a spice of life. What is that? Fun? No.
Slightly hiding out of frame is the spice of
Yeah,
life.
hiding out of frame is the spice of life. I believe the phrase goes.
Yes. Well, and if you are watching the video version, make sure you like, subscribe, smash that bell, all that good stuff. Leave a comment. You might notice that I look slightly a kilter this week. And
Oh, yeah?
that would be because of
Oh, boy.
this gem.
Yikes! Talk about hiding things out of frame.
Yes, exactly. Surprise!
I wonder why you were being so casual with your arm up there, just
Yeah.
like hanging out. But
My left arm is in a large wrap and brace and cast and bandages and all that good stuff. I had, just this week, I have to read it, a proximal row carpectomy to hopefully resolve my scaphoid non-union advanced collapse, shortened to SNAC.
well, I'm sorry that you won't be able to have kids again.
Yes.
Or maybe it's unrelated.
Unrelated, yes. I have
Okay.
had some wrist issues for quite a while and had an MRI, a miracle of technology, and they figured out that everything that they had tried for a year was not working like I tried to tell them. And so the surgeon looked at the MRI results and said, your wrist is a mess, and hopefully we can get that somewhat resolved. So I am 3 bones shorter in my body. The tally of
Wow.
bones is 3 less now. 3 tiny bones in the wrist have been removed.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yes, yep. So I will been doing lots of typing one-handed, and I will tell you, Dave, one of our products that has come up several times, I realized is exactly what I needed for that. Again, if you're not watching the video feed, please turn it on for my Arduro neck phone holder. Is amazing for playing Candy Crush or scrolling Twitter. Since I can't hold real well with my left hand, I should just start doing the show like this so I can have my phone
I
at
tell you.
easy access. This is the, I call it the harmonica holder for your phone.
Yeah.
It's a great
Or
device.
the baby Bjorn of iPhone accessories.
Yes.
I have mine actually right back here on the wall, right there. You can't see it in frame, but it's right there, and I use it occasionally. If I just want to lounge back, and maybe I got my Nintendo Switch
Yeah.
that I put in there, and I just play it, and it's just hanging off my neck. It's what
it's
a wonderful device.
Yes. Well, let us get on to the show before we divulge any more personal information that people will not respect us for, as we oft do. But it's
Yeah.
some follow-up. It seems like we're having one of these stories just about every week. We had, Google Photos is moving to a paid model, or moving away from their completely free model. And just a reminder, you've got about a month and a half to get all your photos uploaded to Google Photos before they start keeping track and eventually charging you for those. So do that. And then we talked about LastPass, how they're changing their pricing. Well, a big one, the drug dealer got you hooked, and now they're changing their scheme. Netflix, some people have started been getting notices about sharing their password. So this has been well known. We've mentioned it before that If you've got a Netflix account, you can share it wherever you want to, and people can use your account. Well, it looks like they're doing some cracking. Now, their policy always was share it within your household. So you can still do that, but if you've got Aunt Helga across the country that's logged into your account, it will put up a nice little notice saying, hey, looks like you're using somebody else's account. Would you like to sign up for your own Netflix account now?
So I don't know how they're determining whether you're in the same household or not. Like, what if my daughter's in college and she wants to use it or whatever, and she's in a different state? But the reason this is confusing to me is when you sign up for Netflix, you either get the single user account where only one person can be signed in at a time.
Well, not signed in, one person watching at a time, correct?
Watching at a time. So yeah, multiple sign-ins, but if you're watching a show and Aunt Helga turns it on, she's either going to get a, sorry, you can't watch this right now, or it's going to kick you off. So I don't know why they would care. You can upgrade for a few dollars more to get the two devices streaming at the same time, or there's the granddaddy 4 devices at the same time. So if I'm Netflix, I'm not sure I really care how many devices it could be 3,000 devices signed in. If only 4 people can watch it at the same time, that's what I'm paying for, right? Aren't I paying for that?
Yeah, so I will be curious to see how widespread how much they can get away with on this. And there has been some rumors, as these streaming services mature, as we're much more dependent on them, they would obviously like to make more money, and there's so much competition. So there's the spectrum of, hey, do we crack the whip on this and it's per IP address, which wouldn't really work, that kind of a thing, or do we just let it up to the 4 streaming? So I don't know. That's a good point. You're paying for that many streams at a time, so why do they care who's using those 4 streams?
Exactly.
Very, very good point. We're not even going to discuss this one, but I'm putting a link in the show notes. The Microsoft Exchange massive hack that we talked about last week. I'm going to put a link in, and it's a really good rundown of the timeline from Krebs on security, and talks about kind of how long Microsoft knew about this problem and how long it took them to get the patch out. So if that at all interests you, which I know is definitely our target demographic is Microsoft Exchange admins, you can go click the link in the show notes.
Right.
But what everybody's interested in, Dave's Pro Tip of the Week.
And I've got a doozy for you this week, Nate.
Oh, yes, you do.
So, the reason I wanted to bring this up is because this feels like the little redheaded stepchild who's just off in the corner that nobody gives any love to or treats well. And of course, I'm referring to, for all of us iOS and iCloud users on Apple's products, is Game Center. And so today we're going to try to demystify Game Center a little bit. And
please do.
This is not claiming that I have it all figured out myself. So we're going to kind of help together. I think that I can get people one step forward, but there's still a lot of steps that are still a mystery. So a short history of Game Center is it came out way back, I don't know, iOS 7 or something like that, maybe before that. And it was a great way for people to play games and see each other's scores, like leaderboard type stuff. I think you could unlock like challenges or badges, like you got to 10,000 points or something like that. And kind of before Game Center was a thing, there was this third-party Game Center thing called Open Faint, which was very similar.
From the past.
And yeah, there were games that employed this third-party plugin to where you could communicate back and forth with your friends over scores and stuff. Well, Game Center rolled out and offered a place to do this very thing where you and I could play Tetris or whatever, and I could see your scores, you could see my scores, and it was an actual application that was you downloaded and opened and signed in and everything, and it was loosely tied to your Apple ID or your iCloud account. I don't think iCloud was a thing back then.
Yeah, maybe
it was
not.
like, yeah. So then fast forward to today, they've removed the app. The app is gone. It disappeared like 2 operating systems ago. But the Game Center back end still remained. And game companies could still put Game Center in there. So when you log in, it could record your scores or you could share with friends. I don't know what Apple's doing with this, because in preparing for this episode, I opened up Game Center and I show you Netback is your Game Center name. Mine is Davey B, just like our Twitter handles. No secrets there. And it showed that Netback was a friend, but it said, "Do you want to invite Nate Heath?" So I invited you again, and I invited my wife and my kids, and I'm going in there. I'm like, they're already in here. So I don't know.
And I got a notification via text message from you saying that you had accepted my invite, and then I was looking at the link, and it said, "Invite David Baylor," or whatever it was. So it is.
And you thought, yeah. So it feels like they just kind of nuked and paved it and said, "Start again," because apparently I was not your friend. I thought I was your friend this whole time, Nate.
Sorry
and I wasn't.
to break it to you.
Yeah.
I let Game Center break the news to you.
Yeah. So I'm going to reel this back in a little bit. How do you get to Game Center now that there's no app? Well, if you're on your iOS device, you go into your settings, and then you kind of have to scroll down quite a bit because it goes past all of the built-in application settings, and then finally you'll see Game Center. And when you click there, it's very sparse. You can basically, it's tied to your iCloud account, so make sure whatever iCloud account that you want to use for Game Center is currently logged in on your device, and it'll just hook up. And then you can invite friends. It goes through kind of creepily suggested everyone in my contacts database that has an iCloud account. Wow. It's like, invite all these people, and I'm like, that's like a business associate. Yeah. How did you get their information? So that's how you do it. Now, what are the benefits of Game Center? Well, just like I talked about, you can let's say Tetris or whatever game. It's kind of nice to be able to challenge each other and to look at each other's scores, and you could communicate offline and say, "Oh, Nate, I noticed you got 9,999 points. I got 104,000 points. So take that," or whatever. And depending on how the applications are written, the Game Center, there's like a Game Center panel inside of the application where you can see your friends' scores and you can do various things. It's not unlike linking your account to Facebook. Have you ever had like Candy Crush, for example? You have to sign into Facebook to save your account history, to save all your progress, to share with friends. It's very similar to that, but I will say what confuses it a bit is that iCloud is responsible for saving your game's progress if it's set up that way. Game Center is not part of that at all. It's merely to share scores and that type of stuff. And so you need to make sure that separately that you have your iCloud backing up your status, so that if you delete the game and want to reinstall it on a new device, or you're wiping your device for some reason, that data is saved somewhere. So it's a hot mess. I hope I've demystified it a little bit, but if you haven't gone into settings / Game Center in a while, you may be logged out. You may not even have a Game Center account. It may be logged into the wrong account. Now's the time to go in there and do some house cleaning. It's spring cleaning, people. This is spring cleaning time. Go in, fix that. Make sure that you re-invite your friends, so that when you play some games, you're able to see each other's scores. I find great joy in gaming kind of together with people, whether it's just through Game Center or leaderboards. So I find value in this. Other people may say, I don't give a crap what other people do. So your mileage may vary as usual, but Game Center, is it for you? Question mark. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I do know I have it. Some of the games I play, Candy Crush doesn't, because they have their own system with Facebook, like you said. But it is nice to see what real life people, how they're doing in a game, because a lot of games you'll go in and you'll look at the global high scores, and somebody has 99 trillion as their high score and probably hacked the game somehow and all of
Yeah,
that stuff. So
that's
to
usually what
have a little
happens.
friendly competition is always fun. So thank you
Yeah,
for trying to demystify that, if it worked at all, because it is kind of a
I don't.
confusing, and games choose to build it
It
in, so
is.
it's not going to be everywhere. But I think it was Lego Star Wars that I was playing with Isla. They had their own kind of achievements built in, but then every once in a while, a little Game Center achievement would pop up in there, and
Mm-hmm.
it is nice to get those
Yeah,
achievements.
it is.
Milestones.
It's a typical Apple fashion. We're going to put it out there. We're not going to really give you much information. It's just going to work in the background. And since it's game related, they just pretty much forget about it.
Yes.
And every 3 or 4 years, they're like, "Oh yeah,
Well, and I was thinking about
games."
it when you shared that you wanted to talk about this today. Is like the Apple, there's Apple TV Plus, but there's also the Apple TV app that's showing up a lot of places, which you can have other TV services and stuff all within that app. They've got the podcast app, which kind of encompasses all that, their music, and they've got their Apple Arcade service. So why they wouldn't have, because Apple Arcade doesn't even have its own app.
It
So
doesn't
if
have its
they,
own app.
so
It's
maybe
just
at
through
some
the App
point we'll
Store.
see more a Game Center app again, where it could be this grand central. Because it would be nice to have a. Here is what I would like. I've got 10 billion
Hmm.
games on my phone. I'd like to be able to go in and see, oh, Davy B just got set a new high score on such and such game, instead of going into every single game and looking. So anything with Game Center built into it, and that's what I liked about the app when they had it, is that you could go in and you could actually see, oh, yeah,
Hmm.
I need to go into this game and try to beat them on this, or they offered a challenge. But
Yeah,
anyways, that is way too much on Game Center,
yeah,
because we probably spent more time on it than Apple did.
that's probably true.
Well, on to our takes of the week. This first one, I do not like this one. We've talked many times about Libby and Overdrive, which are the two most popular apps, or at least the ones I'm aware of, that your local library can utilize for ebooks and audiobooks. And it's been a
Hmm.
great service. My wife uses it all the time. I use it here and there. If there's a book that I want to listen to, I'll go in and reserve it, and then hopefully see the notification when my turn pops up. But you're going to be shocked on this. Amazon publishes a lot of books now, uh, like they do a lot of everything now, as they progress in taking over the world. But all of these books that are published through Amazon, and they have a couple different publishing names, some of their trendy little stuff, they do not allow libraries to purchase their ebooks or audiobooks to make available through these services. I do
Hmm.
not like this one bit. Libraries are a great service to our communities, and really encourage reading. Obviously, not everybody wants to buy books. I don't want to buy a ton of books just because I don't want to. I've got enough junk. My wife will buy some
Yeah.
books that she likes, but if I can borrow it, it's better for the environment. Obviously, not with ebooks, and audiobooks are a little different, but yeah,
Hmm.
it'll be interesting to see, since this kind of was all over the place this week, if any changes will be made on this, because it doesn't seem, especially when we have all this stuff coming out about monopolies, and with Amazon and the other companies, it seems kind of like bad practice for them to say, this book's published through us, we're
Hmm.
not going to sell it to you.
Yeah, I think this will not last long. I think the ban hammer is going to come down on them from some governmental agency and say, "Hey, do you want us to break you up into smaller companies, or do you want to get your act together, Amazon?"
Yes.
So
Yep, yep.
we'll see what
It was
happens.
originally in the Washington Post, so it is not just a tech news thing. This is going widespread, so hopefully
Hmm.
they'll be held accountable for that, and we'll get those Amazon published books. Uh, some stuff going away from Apple this week. They're kind of cleaning
Hmm.
house, and I will say that we're recording this March 14th. There is strong rumor that we will have an Apple event March 23rd, Tuesday. So if you're looking at AirPods or iPads, wait a week before you buy them. If you can wait a week on any Apple stuff, you might do that. But they're cleaning house a little bit before they do that. They're discontinuing the iMac Pro, and I believe they just said while supplies last on the website. Which this is the super high-end iMac, started at like $5,000 and really a great machine, but with the new M1 Max, it's easy to see the writing on the wall that this iMac Pro line probably won't be needed anymore. I don't think anybody's really going to miss it per se, especially once the new M1 iMacs come out, be my guess.
Yeah, well, I think this was a great product, and it filled a niche at a time where it was very needed. But they did release the Tower Mac Pro, which is very expandable, and they have a matching monitor. And so for those in the market for $5,000 iMac Pros, they have other waters to swim in. They have other products to take a look at. And so this product is just kind of left there. Do we continue to build upon it? Do we continue to upgrade it? Do we continue? And I think the correct answer was no, because standard consumer iMacs are going to get a huge speed bump coming very soon, which will probably rival some of those machines. And then the pro community can still use their very beefy tower computers. And there's even rumors that there might be kind of a smaller desktop tower that is like their Mac Pro, but in a smaller form factor. So we'll see if those come out. And if they do, that's just another reason not to have the iMac sitting around with a Pro moniker on it. I'm looking forward to potential new iMacs coming out. Who knows? I might switch back to an iMac one of these days. But I got to tell you, for most people, if you don't need a laptop, the iMac is, whether it's an older one that's been repurposed, or it's the brand new one, or it's an iMac Pro, the form factor, the quality of the screen, everything about them, it screams quality, and they just work really well.
Yes, and the other product that they are discontinuing is the original HomePod. So this is their large music device, which originally I think was $349, and they dropped it to $299. You can get it on sale, and they said that they're going to focus on the HomePod Mini. So,
wow, that I didn't.
Yes,
I did not know that.
It is not. It is not. I've got another link that is not currently in our show notes, but yeah. So the HomePod, they said they're going to focus on the smaller $99 one. I was surprised to hear this because it is a great device. I know people that have them and they really enjoy them, but apparently Apple thinks that with the $99 model, that's what they want to stick with. So who knows? They might do something new or have something else that will replace the larger one, but for now it's going away.
The HomePod Pro.
Yes, there we go. It'll be 200 pounds and fill a room. And I mentioned earlier, for those that subscribe to the podcast, if you use the Apple Podcast app, they're actually changing the phrasing from subscribe to follow, which, it just makes more sense. Subscribe, you think, ooh, I have to pay for this. Where follow, you follow a podcast, you want to get all the episodes. So just a little terminology tweak there that I think makes plenty of sense. It's with as many subscriptions as we have in our digital lives these days, when something is free, it makes sense to kind of put a little differentiator there.
Yeah, well said, well spoken. I totally agree with this, because subscriptions, more and more, we're going to have to pay for these things. But as more and more people listen to podcasts and more commercial entities enter into the space, there are legitimate subscriptions to listen to audio content. And so it just helps the waters not to become more and more muddy by saying, you know what, the people who pay, you can have the term subscriptions, and the people who just listen for free, we're just going to change it to follow. I think it's a great contribution to the podcasting space, and I hope it catches on for all of the different apps.
And Twitter, which I spend plenty of time on, I don't necessarily, if you're not on there, and even if you are, that you spend a lot of time on there, but they are testing bigger and better quality photos. So Twitter, when you post a photo and it shows up in the feed, it's cropped down so you only see half the picture, and it tries to use AI to find the best part of the picture that it does it. And it's like, it's 2021. Just give me a bigger picture. We're not on small screens anymore. We've got these huge... Yes.
We're not on a flip phone with like a 280 by 180 screen.
Exactly. And then the larger quality photos, back in the day, we, were on our data plans and we had half gig a month and we didn't want to go over and especially now where most of us are on Wi-Fi most of the time. A lot of people have unlimited plans or, plenty of gigs. So they're calling it 4K photos, which seems like a horrible way to talk about it because when you think 4K, you think video, but that's the resolution of the photos. So,
But is it though? Because the aspect ratio is going to be different. If you have a wider photo that's less tall, you calculate those pixels one way, and if you have a narrower photo that's taller,
I thought it was.
I don't think it's the same number of pixels.
Weird that's the phrasing they use instead of just higher resolution photos, because they do.
Yeah.
Yes.
How about HD+?
You can take a beautiful picture on your iPhone and then upload it to Twitter, and they downgrade the quality, so anybody that sees it isn't going to see the full majesty of your photos. So I do like that they're doing this. I wish, like Facebook and Instagram, they downgrade the quality of videos and photos, and they do this compression because they've got billions of photos a day or whatever it is coming through their system. So they're trying to save on it. But I do like seeing better quality stuff.
It's expensive to host all this stuff. So like you don't even think about it. I'm going to post a picture to Instagram. We'll take that times 1 billion people. How do you store all those photos for that 1 minute that people post it? So it's a real problem. I understand why they do it. So maybe this is Twitter's attempt to kind of pivot and say, hey, if you want to share high quality photos, then come to Twitter. Forget about Instagram. So maybe it's just a market capturing technique.
Speaking of marketing capturing techniques, T-Mobile is joining the other carriers in tracking for ads. And again, we have differing points of view on this, and the article actually does a good job that I linked to in the show notes, kind of talking through both sides. And one of the good things in this article from the Wall Street Journal is at the end they have how to opt out of the ad tracking with all the different major carriers: T-Mobile, Metro, Sprint, AT&T, and Verizon. So what this is, they use the data from your phone to show you better ads, and of course there are privacy concerns that come along with that, so T-Mobile is turning that on, I think next month or the end of this month, where they'll just be gathering data to give anonymous information to advertisers to try to give you more targeted ads.
When I first saw this link and clicked on it and read through the article, I was like, oh no you didn't, because I like T-Mobile, but I don't like this whole culture. I talked kind of to this topic when my Oculus back here from Facebook, and you were like, why do you have a different account for buying stuff and whatever? So here's my analogy I came up with. If I go to an outdoor market and there's a gentleman selling a hammer, maybe it's one of these fancy hammers that from Douglas or something like that, and I say, all right, I want to buy this hammer, here's my money. And the person says, well, before you can buy the hammer, I need you to give me your email address. And I'll say, but I've got money, you've got a thing, what do you... Well, we want to send you advertisements because we want to. And I will say, well, that has nothing to do with this transaction. You have a good, I've got money. Why do you have the right to advertise to me? What gives you the right to put advertisements in front of my face when we're just doing a simple transaction? So like with T-Mobile, I'm paying them money to give me data and voice, and it's just assumed that they're going to be sending me advertising, whether it's targeted or blanket advertising. My gripe is, why do they feel like they have the right to send me any advertising at all? I'm paying for the service.
Yes.
So that's my 2 cents.
Yes. Well,
makes me angry.
And my opinion is that you're going to get the advertising one way or another. So I would like it to be more targeted and something that would be a more apt fit for me. But yes, the advertising, and I don't know necessarily where T-Mobile is showing you this advertising.
Well, you can bet I immediately followed the instructions, and I went into my app, and I went to the more, and I went to the thing, and it goes, "Oh, we're sorry.
Jeez.
Something went wrong. We're not able to do this." So I started to go to their website, and I got sidetracked or whatever. But they're not making it easy for me to even access the tool. Their whole app seemed kind of messed up. So I'm not saying it's just this one item that was messed up. I couldn't look at other things too. But I mean, come on. If you're gonna give me advertising for a good that I pay for, make it easy for me to opt out. It should be opt out.
Yes.
Like by default, and then I have to opt in to this other stuff. Man, I'm sorry. I'm on my soapbox. I'm going to step off now, but
where
you do
where
not
do
have
they
the
show
right.
you this advertising at? That's
like text messages that they have partners and stuff.
Text you, do they? Oh. I've never gotten a text from T-Mobile.
Sure they do.
Or just my bill.
I get text.
Maybe I already turned it off.
And sometimes sometimes it talks about third-party offers and various things. But it's not only that. See, you're not seeing it directly from T-Mobile. They're taking the information and selling it to third parties. Those are the people that are connecting to you, either through your email or you get some random text message from somebody.
Well, they're not.
How did they get my number or whatever?
They will not sell the number. It's anonymous.
That's how they got
it. Says that in the article.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
sure
I'm not a huge fan of. I am a huge fan of targeted advertising. I'm not a huge fan of them just collecting this data by default. So I will give you that.
Well, and then selling it. So
yes,
where's my cut? It's my data, Anyway, it's obvious from my rise in temperature how I feel about all this stuff. But next time, think about my hammer analogy, and that the hammer vendor just feels entitled to take extra information from me so that they can earn more money off of me. It's the same thing. I don't see how it's any different.
Well, digital versus real world, and that's where it gets blurry. I was actually reading a long article from Stratechery on that topic that we might circle back to one of these episodes. Well, Dave, we got your blood boiling. That's why we do the bonus odd take, and this one is specifically for you. Todd shared this video, and I saw it a couple other places. He shared it in the Facebook group, I think. It is up your alley,
it's up my alley?
Hopefully you don't drone on too long talking about it. But this is a absolutely phenomenal drone video of a bowling alley. Yes, and it is called Right Up Your Alley. It already has 1.6 million views on YouTube, but it is just amazingly shot. It's zooming in and out of the bowling alley and down the lanes, and you get to see back where all the tools are and the inner workings. Just to show what you can do with a drone, this is pretty cool.
This is one continuous shot filmed by a very talented pilot of one of those ultra small racing drones with a high resolution camera attached to it. This thing, it defies logic. The places it goes, the things it does. I can imagine this took many, many takes to perform correctly. Like you said, it's going down the alley. It's going up into the backside of where the balls are reclaimed and the pins. It's going in and out of other rooms. Like
theater
there's the bar,
yeah.
and oh, it's incredible. It's just I've seen similar videos like this, and I've seen the back end like making of, and they plan it all out. Of course, they do multiple takes, and sometimes it take 5, 10, 20 tries to get it exactly right. But with my keen eye, I did not see any opportunity for them to cut to another take. There may have been a couple of takes spliced together, but it looked like one continuous shot to me. There's one that was incredible that came out a few years ago. It was down on some California beach. I can't remember. And the way they did that video is they filmed it forward and then reversed the video. So if you look closely, you can see that it's in reverse, but it looks like it's forward video. And it goes through the jungle gyms where you're swinging on the 2 hoops.
Oh, geez.
It goes through one of those backwards, which was really forwards. But you're just like, how is this possible? And you think all this camera tricks? Nope. Yeah. Skilled pilots.
So that's have set the bar high, Dave. We expect some not nerd product reviews at this level with your drone.
No. I tell you, I am lucky if I don't hit a tree every time I fly my stupid drone around. So I'd never be able to attain this level.
Well, you know what level of skill you have attained. Our picks of the week.
All right, Nate, you know I love me some Anker. Anker is one of my favorite companies, and they make a bivy. Look it up. They make a bivy of products for all kinds of devices, not just Apple devices. Anything that has a USB shaped or USB-C shaped port in it. And the thing I want to recommend today is the USB-C charger, Anker 60 watt PIQ 3.0 and GAN Tech dual port charger, PowerPort Atom 3 2 ports travel charger, and I could go on and on and on and on.
Yes, thank you, Amazon.
The name is PowerPort Atom 3. This is a kind of a square shaped wall wart power adapter. It's bigger than kind of your regular ones. This is like the size of your laptop wall charger, not like a small phone charger. But what's unique about it is it has 2 ports on it, but one is USB Type C and the other one is USB Type A. So let's imagine a scenario. You just bought yourself a new M1 MacBook Pro with USB-C charging ports on it. And that's all you have. It's just your laptop and a power source and then the cord that connects them. Well, you can take the cord and plug it right into this device, and then you go, shoot, I need to charge my iPhone also. Well, you just plug in a USB-A to Lightning cable that has come with every Apple device, it seems like, for the past 25 years.
Yes.
So you probably got 900 of them laying around your house. Just take those 2 cables and this one power adapter in your computer, and you can charge both your devices from the same charging unit. At work, I've given many of our employees one of these as the second charger because one comes in the box with their computer. But everybody wants one for at home or to put in their office or in their travel bag. And so I get them this so they can carry around fewer chargers. So the price on this, should I make you guess? What do you think the price on this is?
I'm going to guess.
Do you want a picture?
I know what these look
reviews,
like. I think
5 stars.
I have a smaller one that has both ports. I don't have one that does 60 watts like you said this one does, which is pretty good. I'm going to say around $40.
That's really close. And it's confusing because it says 60 watts. That's total for both ports. But I think the C port only has 45 watts.
Oh, okay.
And the other, do the math, was at 15 watts.
Yes.
Is for the USB Type A. So it's a cumulative 60.
Okay.
So that probably threw you off a little. But the retail price on this is $37.99. You were very close, my friend.
Yes, nice.
Very close.
Yeah, those are again, power, having options for power. It's one of those things I have. I think, with my new 16-inch, well, somewhat new 16-inch MacBook Pro, I think I have 3 different chargers, one at my desk, one at my chair downstairs, and then one that I keep in my tech backpack. I think the one in my tech backpack's only like a 60-watt one, which this laptop has a 100-watt charger. So it will give it some power, but if you're actively trying to do stuff on it, it's not going to charge it well. But and this is, I think I heard you say it's the GaN technology, which does make it
is
great,
smaller than you would expect.
Yes. So it would be interesting to count up in all of our picks of the week how many different chargers that we have picked, because there's a lot of great options out there, and Anker makes some of the best.
You can't go wrong with Anker.
No.
And if it does go wrong for you, send it back for a full refund or a replacement. They have great customer service. So
nice. Very cool. Well, my pick of the week this week, something a little bit different. It's the Notrax 410S0323BL Notrax 410 PVC Airug Safety Anti-Fatigue Floor Mat for dry areas, 2-foot width by 3-foot length by 3/8 inch thickness. Black. And there's a million products like this, but what this is good for, I was DJing down at the bar last night, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to make this my pick of the week tomorrow, because think about 2 years ago, I just went onto Amazon and I was like, I stand up a lot down here, and I'm standing just on this plywood with some thin carpet, and my feet hurt. And so, hey, my feet are fatigued. What should I look for? An anti-fatigue mat. And I've actually, for some clients that do like trade shows, I'm like, you've got to have something like this. Obviously, you need a little bigger area for that. We have them in our kitchen now. So if there's a place like in your garage, if you've got a little work table out there and you're just standing on cement is the worst for your feet to stand on, as you probably know if you've ever stood on it for any amount of time. But they have, literally every different size, shape, color. You can even buy like interlocking ones. That's what we did for this trade show, where it was like wood grain, and you just buy all these tiles. But just something to think about to make your life a little bit better is, if you have a standing desk, get one of these anti-fatigue mats to just help your feet out a little bit. This one is $12.61 for a 3-foot by 2-foot. I
was going to guess $15.
Yes. And there's all kinds of different, they even have these weird ergonomic where there's like waves and kind of some angles, so you're not just standing flat-footed all the time. So that would be great for a standing desk where you can kind of, arch your foot up a little bit, or kind of get some different things. But one of those ergonomic things, like my, wrist pads that I've been using, that was a pick of the week. Take care of your body so that you don't end up like this with a messed up wrist.
That is a good tip.
Yes. What did the surgeon say when I met him? I think he literally said, after looking at the MRI, your wrist is a mess. Not that that's related to fatigue mats.
He said, you're a mess. I mean your wrist.
Your wrist. Your wrist
is a mess.
Yes. Now on to your wrist. Well, our Ramazon purchase of the week, both of those products came from Amazon, and we love it when you guys shop through our Amazon links, or you can just type in amazon.notnerd.com and it redirects you through all the things, so we get a little kickback. I was looking,
unless you're a library, and then you can't buy the books.
Yes.
So
all of our librarian listeners trying to purchase audiobooks for thinking back to that story, hopefully, because of how that whole library system is set up, maybe Amazon just hasn't gotten around to releasing the service for libraries to do that. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt on that one. But on the anonymous report this week, I found the Platypus Orthodontic Flossers Dental Floss Pick for braces, fits under archwire, will not damage braces, increase flossing compliance, floss teeth in less than 2 minutes, 30 count bag, pack of 4. Dave, was this you?
Compliance? What is this, Russia? In Russia, the floss is you. Yes. No, whatever.
Close.
So how did you pick me again? No, I'm kidding. I don't wear braces. I probably should.
Yes.
I need to clean these beauties a little bit more probably to make it a little more
Smile
shiny.
for radio.
Yes, I have a smile for radio, but no, I don't know who this could be.
So this one actually could have been my wife. She does like the little floss picks, so it's kind of the I think anybody could use these. I don't think you have to have braces for this particular product.
They just threw it in there for a keyword.
Yes, but it looks like these ones maybe have some specific attachments to work better with braces. But somebody purchased them through our link. If it was you, let us know. I sent you a picture, so it's got the Anker, the spatula end, the floss, the handle, and the bracket brush. But it's very similar to the ones that my wife uses.
I am familiar with these. We have a version of these floating around our house sometimes.
Yes.
Sometimes I will just see them laying on the arm of a chair, and I'm like,
so
who? Why? What? Keep your nasty teeth pickers in the bathroom.
Yes.
Anyway,
So
I digress.
I will give you some more details on this. So you're getting 4 30-count bags, so 120 of these little guys. So that's a whole awful lot. And it has a perfect 5-star rating with 1,999 reviews. So if you buy this real quick, you could be their 2,000th review.
That's something.
And it is by the brand Platypus, if that means anything to anybody.
Well, when you first started talking about these, I was imagining a platypus shape.
Oh, yes, like a little character.
For kids.
Yes, no, that is just the brand name.
Yeah, man, I have no idea. I'm gonna say $8 for this bag of 120 of these things. No idea.
Yeah, $22.99 for the 120 of these. So yeah, this is.
So they're more than $1 a piece?
No, 120.
Oh,
for $23.
Okay, I was missing out on the 100. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, but still, that seems. What's the math on that, dear wizard? What do they come out to each?
Yes, so that would be 120 divided by, we'll just say $23, $23 divided by 120. I'm blaming the arm injury on my math. So 19 cents a piece is what.
19. Okay, well that's not bad. Mine would have made them like 2 cents a piece or something like that.
So
still,
there is a lot of options on this stuff. I don't know how much the normal ones, if these orthodontal ones are more expensive than those.
Yeah, they may be better quality. The ones that we have around here don't seem very good. So yeah, maybe they're worth it. Well, you let us know, dear listener, whether these are thebomb.com or if they're garbage. We want to help everyone out.
Yes, indeed. And with that, we will wrap up another episode of the podcast. Thank you for watching and or listening. We love it when you do both. Send in your questions. What do you have questions about technology? What are you thinking about buying? What's on your radar? What are you confused by? And you can ask again, and we still don't have a much better grip on those dang non-fungible tokens that I keep hearing about. That is a weird place. But share us with a friend. If they always asking you about technology, send them our way, because we spend a lot of time learning technology, using technology, and keeping up with technology so that we can help you get out there and tech better.
Oh yeah, my pick of the week, thanks a lot, is the Scratch Be Gone.
Stolen Valor.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, should we stop our quickie times and hope that might actually work this week?
Quickie times? Reminds me, how's your mom?